Greetings, my friend.
Oh, hi there. My name is Prostetnik Vogon Jeffs, and in this video, I'm going to be talking about Joker 2, aka Joker Folie à Deux, aka Todd Phillips tries to own the chuds.
I got the sneaking suspicion that we're not giving the people what they want.
It once again stars Joaquin Phoenix as Arthur Fleck, Zazie Beetz as Sophie, and Lee Gill as Gary Puddles. But this time around, we've also got Brendan Gleeson, Catherine Keener, Steve Coogan, and Lady Gaga. Lady effing Gaga, everybody. Get your tickets before they sell out. Oh, what's that? Wow, that's not good.
I've seen it. It's rubbish.
I f***ing hate this f***ing movie.
Well, let's give this movie about as much attention as it deserves. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Joking. But it is a stagnant movie overstuffed with bland musicals, a wafer-thin plot, and... oh, wait a minute. You guys want to hear a joke? All right. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
This shitty movie. This movie is terrible, and I'm going to spoil the shit out of it. All right. All right, so right off the bat, we get an animated prologue in which Arthur Fleck's Joker battles his shadow. I'm not gonna lie, I enjoyed this more than anything else in the movie. It was a clever way to encapsulate the final moments of the previous film. The me and my shadow imagery was a bit heavy-handed with subtext, but as a recap, it was a nice surprise that set me up with the belief that, hey, maybe this isn't going to be as bad as everyone is saying it is. And for the first half of the movie, I almost believed it. Arthur Fleck is being held at Arkham Hospital while he awaits trial. Okay, hold on. If you haven't seen the first Joker, just know that he killed a handful of people, like 5 people.
6.
Right? Six people. Sorry. And it's worth noting that after a movie full of rich character development, Arthur had embraced his nihilistic and confident Joker persona. I think it's also worth mentioning that he was an unreliable narrator, so we didn't really know how much of what we were seeing was real and how much was inside Arthur's head. That's probably all you need to know. I think we're good.
Let's give the people what they want.
Okay, so Arthur Fleck has inexplicably reverted from his Joker persona since his arrest, and is being held at Arkham Hospital while he awaits trial. He spots Lady Gaga's Lee Quinzel on his way to meet with his legal representation. His lawyer, Catherine Keener, is planning on mounting the split personality defense. Brendan Gleeson is Jackie Sullivan, an abusive Arkham Hospital guard with an interest in singing.
Remember that music class we saw the other day? B-Ward? Remember with all the singing?
So he gets Arthur involved with music therapy to indulge in his own passion, giving Arthur and Lee the opportunity to meet and become smitten with each other.
When I first saw Joker, when I saw you and Murray Franklin, the whole time I was watching, I kept thinking, I hope this guy blows his brains out.
Lee tells Arthur a bunch of bunk about her past. Abusive father, blah, blah, blah. Pyromaniac, blah, blah, blah. The TV movie about you was great, blah, blah, blah. Oh, and Tim Dillon is in this movie. That's a plus if you're a Tim Dillon fan. Now, it's movie night, and Lee decides to start a fire in a piano so that she and Arthur can try to escape. The impromptu mission fails, and Arthur is locked away in solitary confinement. I'm sorry, is this a hospital or a prison? I mean, is this more or less Arkham Asylum? Is it just a high-security hospital? I don't know. It just seems weird to have solitary confinement in a... You know what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Meanwhile, Lee is released from the hospital, and Arthur does an interview with Steve Coogan's Patty Myers, where he sings his love for Miss Quinzel. On the way to court, Arthur begins laughing uncontrollably. This is something that hasn't been addressed at all in this movie. But if you saw the first one, you'd know that Arthur suffered from fits of uncontrollable laughter. Which I had always assumed was a physical manifestation of his repressed Joker personality. Or maybe some kind of breathing technique to cover his uncontrollable farts.
Yeah, that's not funny.
Now, that might be wrong, but you know what? It's what we're going with from here on out. I'm not going to go into every detail of the trial. It takes up the better part of the movie. Well, not the better part. The better part was the first hour. I don't mean it like that. I mean, it takes up most of the movie. There's a lot of courtroom stuff coming up. Brace yourselves.
Any and all outbursts will not be tolerated.
So Harvey Dent shows up as the assistant district attorney. Don't worry, there will be a reason for this a little bit later on.
Really? Really?
He calls witness after witness, mostly characters from the first movie, to dismiss the claims that Arthur is insane. Lee gets all up in Catherine Keener's face about it. She is not happy with how the trial is going.
Let's not do this here.
Do you see all those people out front? Who do you think they're here for?
And, well, Catherine Keener isn't too happy about being confronted and tells Arthur about who Lee really is.
She's playing you for a fool.
Most of the stuff Lee told him is a lie.
What?
Arthur confronts his girlfriend about this, and she admits that she lied in order to get close to him. She wants to see him in his true form. She wants the Joker.
You need to stop taking your medication.
In court, Arthur is bombarded with testimony and finally snaps and fires his lawyer. Ugh. Sure, he does batter the judge with a large gavel in a dream sequence. I guess that's something, I suppose. But yeah, he fires his lawyer and returns the next day as the Joker. And maybe you're thinking, ooh, something crazy is about to happen. This is where things are really going to get exciting. Well, let me burst that bubble for you. Nothing happens. Instead, we get 7 minutes of Gary Puddles making Arthur feel bad for scaring him.
I couldn't go back to work. I still can't sleep. And I'm scared all the time.
Then Arthur gets beaten up by the hospital security guards. And the next day, Arthur drops the Joker facade entirely and confesses to his crimes.
There is no Joker. It's just me.
Lee and a handful of his supporters are so disgusted by his admission that they get up and leave the courtroom. Arthur tries calling Lee, but she won't answer him. And during sentencing, a group of Joker supporters blow up the courthouse and bust Arthur out. Oh, Harvey Dent. Right, okay. So, yeah, Harvey Dent was caught in the blast, surprise, and half his face is disfigured. Origin story! Okay, back to Arthur. He doesn't want to be mixed up with his crazy followers, so he bolts and finds Lee hanging out on those steps he danced down in the first movie. Quite a callback. But she doesn't want anything to do with Arthur. She wanted to be with Joker. And like he said back in the courtroom,
There is no Joker.
Lee walks away, and a distraught Arthur is immediately apprehended and returned to Arkham Hospital, where he is stabbed to death by a fellow inmate who then carves a Joker smile into his own face. The end. You know, it's rare to get a movie these days that disappoints critics and audiences in equal measure. Actually, no, it's not. But regardless, here we are. There's no point in sugarcoating it. This is a terrible musical. It's a terrible movie. And I wanted to like it. I wanted to like the rough and lived-in cover songs.
Sing hallelujah. Come on, get up.
I wanted to like the stripped-down execution of the musical numbers.
For once in my life, I have someone who needs me.
I really wanted to like it, but it's fucking horrible, man. Sure, some of the songs kind of work in a weird way. Some of them don't feel ridiculously out of place. And the acting is pretty decent for the most part. Joaquin isn't as dialed in as he was in the first movie, but he still does a good job. And I wasn't as anti-Lady Gaga as some internet denizens were, but on the whole,
Knock, knock.
not good. Speaking of Gaga, I have a question. Is her version of Harley Quinn supposed to be a representation of toxic fandom?
Yes.
They're saying you're a bad influence on me.
Gaga's Lee Quinzel is an enabler of the Joker. She's a troubled individual with an unhealthy obsession with Arthur's alter ego. She's willing to check herself into a mental institution to be close to her hero. And she's not interested in Arthur Fleck's story, abandoning him when he's unwilling to embrace his dark nature. It sure seems like Todd was trying to say something here. Well, there you have it. What the f do I know? You know, I really enjoyed the first Joker. It was well written, the acting was great, all of the pieces just kinda came together. It was a nice piece of modern cinema that paid homage to a couple of my favorite De Niro movies, Taxi Driver and The King of Comedy, while giving us a unique DC Elseworlds kind of adaptation. But the Joker sequel is a bait and switch. It's like ordering some sort of nostalgic memento from Amazon and waiting 5 years for it to arrive, only to find out that the nostalgic memento was out of stock and a substitute was sent in its place. And the substitute is a giant middle finger dipped in diarrhea.
What the f has gotten into you?
Too much? Okay, fine. It's like watching an 80s comedy and not seeing tits and ass.
What?
Still too much? All right. It's like watching a Batman movie and only ever seeing Bruce Wayne.
Why, it sounds like a joke.
A contract has been broken. Yes, Todd Phillips is making fun of the audience who didn't get his first Joker movie. Yes, he's trying to deconstruct the monster he created. Yes, he's an inconsistent director who is best known for movies about people getting blind, stinking drunk. Yes to all the things. Hell, I'll even give a yes to some decent acting.
Are you being serious?
I am being serious. In the Bible.
It's obvious that the cast and crew were trying. I've definitely seen worse.
No. Never mind.
Although it's hard to get awful performances when you've got the likes of Brendan Gleeson and Catherine Keener and Joaquin Phoenix. No, the actors aren't the problem here. The real problem, the thing that truly crushes this movie into obsolescence, is this. It's boring. It's just plain boring.
I can't believe it!
Nothing happens. The resting pulse rate for this movie is in the negatives. Whether that's on purpose or by accident doesn't matter. It is what it is. And like I said, maybe that was Todd's ultimate plan. He wanted to dump on the audience that lauded his villain as an antihero, as someone worthy of sympathy. He wanted us to hate the Joker, and we ended up loving him. And as we all know, the opposite of love isn't hate, it's indifference. And maybe that's how Todd got his revenge. He made us indifferent to the franchise. Oh, you like that character that you were supposed to hate? Well, here, what do you think of him now? I'm speculating, of course, though if that was the intention, well, mission accomplished, Todd, because Joker, Folie à Deux, is a terrible movie. But I don't hate it. I'm just, indifferent towards it.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
That's all, folks.